April 19. A little snowy outside today. Today's going to be a big day. Gonna remove the both drive shafts, front and back. Then I built the mount for the tub, so freed up the crane, hooked up the crane to the engine. I think actually I'm gonna remove the steering pump, the engine mount, and then try to line up the engine to the best position I can before I remove the drive shafts. Then when I have the engine like stabilized, I'll be able to figure how much clearance that I want with the tub, how much forward I'm going to need to bring it. Then I need to measure the axles to bring them to the shop before I remove them, and then after remove the axles. And I think that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow I'll bring the axles to the shop. And I was told they had a 48 hours turnaround, so I should get them by Friday. I just filled up with some fluid, power steering fluid, so I'm gonna undo this pipe. This one is like the feed line, I think. So I'm gonna unplug this pipe and then drain the tank with the feed line and recover all that liquid before I take it off. Also, so as I was saying, I moved the engine forward on the right on the passenger side, so I get more clearance for the reservoir, for the steering reservoir, but it taxed my clearance on the turbo. So I ordered the a used pump from 2.5 liters, which has a separate feed tank. So like this, I'm gonna eliminate that reservoir right there. I'm going to be able to move my engine a little more on this side and hopefully center it with the tub. And by having it centered the tub, I might not need to move the engine forward too much. So that's what we're gonna try to figure today. Oh boy. Fail. Yes, just the right length. Okay, here you go. Side for sure. Oh boy. So the clearance look already way better than what it was. The only way to find out exactly would be to drop tub. The only way to find out would be to drop the tub actually, but I did regain a fair bit of space there between the turbo and the firewall. I wonder now if I drop the engine a little more, like what would I get? So let's do that. I sure got more clearance now that the angle is flatter. But it's hard to tell how much clearance I'm gonna get. Looks like I might get like 3 inches of the turbo. It's hard to tell, but fuel pump to firewall maybe 4 inches. I would need to lower the top to find out really what my clearance is. So I think what I'm gonna do is try to secure the engine in this position to free the crane, and then put the crane on the tub and lower the tub and see what kind of clearance we got with the tub lower down. So I put a Herc strap under the engine to maintain it level to this position, and then I'm gonna lower the crane, see if it holds. If it holds, gonna hook up the crane to the tub and lower the tub. That's better. So I got the engine lowered down and strapped with a Herc cross, and I strapped the crane on. So I'm gonna lift the tub and then get the clearance to get my jig, the tub off the jig, unscrew the jig off. The angle of my rear drive shaft is not ideal. Yeah, Bannock in the shot. So the angle of my drive shaft is not optimal at all. It's already slipped out a bit as well. So I would definitely need a slip yoke eliminator in the back to get that angle back. But I was thinking about it, and then I don't need the clearance right now, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 2.5 inches shims that I'm going to put in between the skid plate and the frame to lower the transmission. By lowering the transmission, it's going to spread out my axle outward, my drive shafts outward, and then probably going to get a little more clearance in the front as well. With my adjustable control arms in front, I'm going to be able to push and gain a little bit of clearance forward as well. And then my lower rear control arms, I'm going to swap that for adjustable control arms, and then I'll be able to play with the angle of my axle in the back there, and I'll be the cheapest solution so far, and I'll be able to get my truck going. And then I'll call this stage 1, and then once I'm happy with the setup and I have like a good reliability of the truck, then I'll go stage 2, and then I'll re-rig all the driving components. But for now, I think it'll be the cheapest solution. I will only need to get the adjustable control arms. I have a lot of tubing to do the spacers with skid plate, and I'll be able to move my engine forward a little more, and that should get me going there in a better time frame and cheaper. So let's lower the tub, see what kind of clearance we have. It's going to be probably inside. Inside wall. 1.5 inch clearance in between the tub and my turbo intake, which is clearly not enough. If I could move the engine 3 inch forward, I would get like much better clearance, much easier to work on too. And that would bring my mount forward 3 inches as well. So I'm not sure what route to take here. Like I'm a little bit on the fence about what to do here. I think the best course of action right now is to lift the tub, put the jig back in, and settle the tub back on the jig. Measure the length of my axles as it sits right now. And when that's done, I think I'm gonna drop the skid plate and try to move the engine forward with the crane on the engine, and then see where it can get and what it looks like. Also, with the tub up, I can probably cut my mounts here and then get ready for the next configuration. Well, it could have been like smoother. Okay. Let's take some measurements. Seven and a half. So I did a little bit of calculation here, finding the distance from pillow to pillow, center pillow to center pillow. I got 36 inch and 7/8 in the front, which equaled 36.875 inches. And in the back I had 12 inches from pillow to pillow. So by calculating with the laser, I calculated the height of the axles to the top of the transfer case, or the height of the pillow block on the transfer case, and I got 7.5, so I used that for both back and front. Now with those numbers I was able to find the distance that I need, the distance that I had from axle to center of pillow, I guess, on the horizontal plane, which was 36 in the front and 9.35 in the back. Now if I want to remove the engine forward, I need to subtract 3 inches in the front and 3 inches in the back. So that gave me 12.35 in the back and then 33 in the front, and then finding the distance required to shorten the hypotenuse on the top. I got like 33.84, which equal 33 and 27/32s. And in the front, I lengthened the 12 inches to the 9 inches to 12.35, and gave me a measure of 14.45. Converted to standard is 14.2964. So anyway, they just told me to get like the pillow to pillow block measurement, and they should be able to figure them out. But I figured I might as well do it and then figure out myself to see like how much off I am. Now, interesting thing is that someone has suggested to flip the turbo on the other side. So what we're talking about here is flipping the whole manifold on the other side. Like this, the turbo will be relocating like more forward, and it will have the exhaust going backward, and the intake, the output, the turbo output going forward, which would probably basically solve my problem. But I didn't look into it. I didn't even know that was possible. So I've been working at taking the turbo out I'm gonna try to flip it before I move along and moving everything around. So everything is unbolted around the manifold bolt, so can get to the manifold bolts now and then get this thing off and try to flip it and see if, what the clearance is going to look like. As you said, we need to plug the turbo. Try to keep things like the right way. Vacuum hose connected still. Oh, like this. Well, I should have disconnected that first, I guess. So it's out. Okay, turbo is out. Now I think I'm gonna try to take the Egr out. Should be easy now that I have plenty of clearance for that. And then it will be easier for me to play with the turbo, see if it fits the other way around. Oh, now we're talking. Would it fit upside down? No, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Well, that was exciting for nothing. So it's fidgeting around, and then to flip the manifold around, if I remove those two studs, then all the other studs would line up. Which is very tempting because it would solve all my problems. I don't know like how big of a deal that would be to have like missing two studs, but like the plate will be bolted by 6 studs, which is not that bad. It will be just missing a stud on 2 holes, which are the middle ones. Also, I found some sand in my exhaust ports, which is freaking weird. So I'm gonna boroscope that and see what's in there. The sand in there. Sand get in there. This one look okay. I'm gonna blow it off and that's better now. So all the holes are lining up perfectly. Only 2 pins. This one, this pin, and this pin doesn't fit. So if I can take them out, then I can probably flip the manifold and bolt it in there, hoping I don't have bypass leak. I can also put the gasket around
those two holes, try to seal them a little bit better.
I'm gonna take those two studs out. I believe it's this one and this one. And if I can get these out, then I think I'm good to go. The turbo will be easy to clock, I think. So let's do that. That's one. No. No, it's gonna fit. Here you go. This was moving freely. Let's do the hot side. Should be easier. So I ran out of memory, so sorry about this, but I was able to split the cold side and the hot side. The hot side is the hardest to split, to be honest. I used this bolt and wedged it in between, and then screwed it. Actually unscrewed the bolt to apply pressure on both sides, and the side popped out. So the way that works is you have a rotating flange here, and the little gang vanes are activating like the little veins inside the exhaust there, and probably modulate the amount of air that accelerate the turbine through the exhaust. Like the air is traveling probably more. The veins open, more exhaust gas are leaked out into the exhaust and reduce the input on the turbine. Anyways, so whatever. So those little guide vanes, if you flip them out of the notch here, usually you can remove them and you can clock this this flanger, but I have 3 guides that do not disengage, and the fact that they're symmetrical with each other, like the position is like all around, I think it's by design, and being that way is this is not clockable. I did some research and I found on forums that the hot section on those turbos apparently are not clockable, which would explain a lot. So I think I'm back to square one here, and I'm gonna go back to my initial plan to just move the engine forward. I have everything for it, so it should be okay. It's just more work. But I also need to cut my engine mounts, but so I guess that's what it's gonna be. So tomorrow I'm gonna take the drive shafts out and then start moving the engine around a little forward and see where I can get.